The Personnel and Finance Committee meeting open. First thing on the agenda is the minutes of June 15th. Since this will move that, we have a personnel update.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Take a look at the Human Resource Department for the month of July. Really didn't have too many changes. We still have the park attendant position, seasonal position still open, still 4 spots available. We currently have 2 that we did hire. For the public works, we have 4 seasonal positions available. We did hire 2 of the seasonal general laborers in the public works department,
Full time.
part-time.
Oh, part-time.
Yeah, the seasonal.
Oh,
We also still have the deputy city clerk position available, as well as the 2 positions in the community economic development department, which is the block grant manager as well as program coordinator. The other change is the summer youth program. So it is up and going. The start was June the 27th, as far as like all the workers being out in the parks, things of the sort. So the grant is coming from 2 different places as far as like how we actually spend the money. Some is actually coming from CDBG and the other is Southwest Michigan Community Action Agency. We also have Connexus that is hiring from 16 to 19-year-olds.
okay.
So the only thing the city is doing regarding youth is hiring from 14 to 15-year-olds.
Okay.
As of right now, we have 41 employees for the summer youth program. Yes, with the
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
41.
41?
Yeah, it's also on the
Right here.
report, yes. 41. Other than that, I think the only other change, we did hire 1 more person for the seasonal general labor and public works, which is Kendra Ellis. And we did hire a recruit for the police department, for a public safety department rather. The recruit, he will be attending, I believe, the police academy soon, but right now he's a recruit. And that's the only changes we have for the month of July.
Any questions about the human resources?
Just one thing to mention on the police recruit, the city did get a grant from the state of Michigan, and any recruit that they have and cost between now and, I think it's the end of September, the state of Michigan will cover those costs. So they're active in trying to get people to come in and get them into the program so they can have the police academy paid for. So.
Good. Thank you. Go ahead, Representative. Sorry.
So what is the starting pay for a police officer coming in?
So as a recruit, which no qualifications or anything of the sort, is $17 an hour right now. Once you get certified, depending upon if it's fire or police, it's a different pay range. Then when you get actually like certified for both, it's another pay range.
If I may ask, Commissioner Adams, if I may ask, why, you can't see me? They can hear me, everybody know who I am.
Good to see you, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir, you as well. I only caught the last end of it, and for years now, we've been talking about, when I became an ALPAC member 10 years ago, we were discussing, as they were trying to bridge the, gap between public safety department officers and the residents to regain the trust and respect. There was a lot of talk about training, and now it's happening. And I stressed that maybe it was possible if we could utilize one of the schools. I'd like to know who exactly is having the conversations with the state for this, because we have schools that are just sitting, and I think that it's a perfect opportunity to reach out to the youth that may be interested in possibly overseeing, public safety to some degree within their community, because this thing has gotten so much broader with social work and first responders. Who is having those conversations? Because it should be us with the state, making sure that all of these things are working together.
City manager, assistant city manager,
Yes,
reference that, what she's saying.
I believe the police department is having discussions.
Chief McGinnis, Deputy Clark.
Okay, I'm in thought, trying to process the levels of organizations that I've been working with that are pressing lawmakers on a higher level of what that should look like and to bringing it to fruition. So I guess I'll talk to Chief McGinnis.
Yeah.
I guess, have we gotten to the income tax yet, or did I miss that?
No, we've been conversation.
Oh, okay, all right. Thank you, sir. Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Fine, how are you, sir?
So the work start out with a 14 or 15 dollars.
No, I don't have the pay scale in front of me. However, the part-time, I know for sure is $13.17. Depending upon what position in Public Works, it's all different pay range. Could be, I think the lowest is like $11 and something, but that is a full-time general labor. But if you have like a CDL for a heavy equipment operator, it's higher. If I'm not mistaken, and please don't quote me because I do not have the numbers in front of me, but I believe it's like either $14 or $15 now.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Moving on.
Commissioner Adams?
Oh.
Is there some house, when you first hired a city manager?
Point of order. Stick to protocol.
Okay, you want to see me act like a bunny rabbit? I will.
Buildings on tonight?
Okay, so I thought that it was our initial hope, knowing that we were, short on manpower, because emergency manager eliminated a lot of positions. Even though we were top heavy then, it seemed like we have the same problem now. Because we had quite a few workers, and we still have the same problems. Stuff not getting done. So is that really the problem, or do we need supervisors supervising different aspects of what public works actually is? And that's something that we really need to take a good look at, in my opinion, in listening to my residents and the complaints and things that they see that are very disheartening on their tax dime. Like our trash. It should be a supervisor just over that one department. Maybe we're putting too much on one person, if you get what I'm saying. How many positions are we looking at filling in public works?
Right now, we have no open positions, only like the seasonal positions that was budgeted.
Okay.
However, I was advised that after the seasonal position, that they were gonna hire two,
Okay.
like permanent part-time people into that department as well.
Okay. I'm just thinking, because I know they have a lot on them when it comes to
Right.
the trash, demolition, and so much other stuff. With a skeletal crew.
Mhm.
I guess until we can build up our tax base a little more, we're gonna be a little stuck. So, okay, thank you.
But if you know anyone that has a CDL, ask them to come and apply because we need CDL drivers.
Really? Okay, okay. I didn't, okay.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Who does the interviewing?
Depending upon what department it is, I'm included as well as the department head is included. And sometimes Mr. Mitchell sits in, but
Okay.
it really just depends on that department.
I just find it hard to believe that's an open position because CDLs, I know a lot of young men that have them. But attitudes are everything. And politics has no place beyond right here.
Haven't had anyone apply,
Representative Clark.
but ask them, if you know someone, please ask them.
I will.
So I know for people who got a CDL and they think about leaving their current job, they make like $17,000-$18,000.
Yeah,
But
they won't start off making 17, 18.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Commissioner Henry.
Thank you, Chair.
Mhm.
And I thank the, Ms. Galvin for giving us such a detailed report, but in details, it always leaves a question. So, Chair, we've had discussions before about when we have new hires, we would like to know who they are. And so that has been a practice in the past that the body got to meet the new hires. We didn't have anything to do with the hiring, but at least we knew who was who and where they were supposed to be. And so I'm gonna ask you, through the chair, to allow that process to happen. And then the other part of it is, question is, what is the successor's plan? And that's through the chair to the.
So right now, we're working on it. Our problem is actually most of the positions that we definitely are concentrating on having a successor plan on are positions with certifications that you have to have it per the state. And we're having difficulties with the people that's currently employed passing tests to actually get certified.
Oh, okay, so that's the plan, that we're gonna bring people up from within to,
Well,
That
that's hopefully the plan, but as I stated, we're having issues with current employees passing
I got you,
tests to get certified.
okay. Then that seems to be a problem. It's just not a hiccup, it's a big problem. Because what we saw in the past is this needs to be done. We need to grow someone from the bottom up. So if it's not really working, then it's something we need to make some adjustments, change our perspective, or something to make it work for us. I just really like to meet our new team members.
Mhm.
And so when I see them, I'll know them. It's just a great idea that we all embrace each other.
Can I ask you a question? This process you're talking about, meeting employees, personnel, finance, or committee, commission meeting?
Well,
How does it work?
we did it in commission meeting,
Commission meeting.
and we welcomed them, and we knew them. Most, we such a small town, we don't know somebody that somebody knows. But
Makes sense.
as you and I have had this conversation since 2018, there's been a lot of red flags for me. So I haven't been able to follow them up, but meet and greet our own staff, new staff members, it's just, human thing to do. And our successors plan sounds like to me it needs some work. Uh, I always talk about Benton Harbor residents getting preference treatment. And this is a one time that we could give preference treatment to by tutoring or whatever it is that if they're a loyal employee and they came into the city the right way, they have the capacity to learn and they want to learn. Let's see if we can help them some kind of way to pass this test.
We're doing everything, trust me.
Huh?
I mean, we're doing everything.
What is everything that you're
Everything
doing?
is as far as tutoring, as far as one-on-one sessions, as far as actually getting them to take like classes and things of the sort online, buying
Yes.
books for them to study themselves. It's not too much else that we as a city can do other than take the test for them, and you can't do that.
You can't do that. Okay, so those things are have been done, and I would say there's something still not working. So if that's not working, maybe we need to look at another source of experience. It's not working, and if we think that we're going to hold on to our water plant with incompetent people, you can see what Eagle did to us. So it's not going to work unless we have our competent people in place, and that's certified. So that's another personnel and finance issue. It needs to be taken up immediately.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Start the process of us meeting the new employees. Thank you.
Can I just stress
Okay,
why?
Representative Clark.
Okay.
I have a question. Do they take the test on the end when they first started or a little before they started?
No, we've been trying to be lenient in the process of hiring to get more city resident employees employed for the city. So therefore, no, we've been very lenient when it comes to the hiring process to try to get city employees employed. But
Last question, Commissioner Adams.
Yeah, as my witness, when was the last time I talked to you?
I don't know.
It's been a while, some days, seriously. But she just touched base on some things that if I didn't know any better, she was with me when these conversations took place. First of all, over the weekend, I had an officer call me, and I thought that it might have been somebody impersonating an officer when I thought about it because of the hours that he had called. And the first time I didn't think anything of it. I talked to him, and then he called again later on, and I'm like, wait a minute, is he trying to hold court with me about this situation? And I should not have had to call Chief McGinnis or email him to ask him if in fact this was an officer, because I can remember they used to come in here and introduce themselves to at least the elected officials so that we know. I mean, we not above the law, but we are their bosses, and we should at least know them. So when a resident calls us, we can verify that a person is there. But he called me, yeah, and I didn't know that he was an officer. But education, we're going to talk further about that. I had a very lengthy conversation with the young lady that's been charged over our children that explained the very same thing that she just, and we already know what the problem is, and they're going to fail, but somebody just passing them on to the point that where right now they can't pass the test. That's not fair to them, and we can do better. So start thinking on Manchester Bidwell and what we're going to do, some rearranging of some funding.
Right, moving on.
city income tax. So for the month of the full month of June, for the individual returns, the revenue was $11,338.59. Withholding, $420,858.07. Total deposits, $446,641.79. Refunds in the total amount of $18,288.68, with a net profit of $14,445.13. As of to date for the month of July, for the individual returns, it's $423.47. Withholdings in the amount of $126,501.48. Total deposits, $126,934.95. Refund totaling $798, with a total profit of $10. The year to date for individual returns is $136,497.69. For withholdings, $1,482,004.55. Total deposits, $1,785,995.10. Total refunds to date, $136,224.08, with a net profit of $167,492.86. I also did a comparison, which is on the other page, and it just basically states the comparison from year to year. It just basically states the comparison from year to year per month.
Any questions on city income tax? Oh, wait.
Through the chair, Ms. Davenport. I just want to know what's been the reason for the refunds?
It could be that employer withheld income taxes when they shouldn't have. Maybe the person had a 49022 zip code, but actually Sam Township or Solis or something of the sort, and shouldn't have been charged city income tax. You do have some people that can exclude certain income from their income tax. Or you have like a person that might not be a resident but actually live in a city and the wrong tax rate was applied to the withholdings. So instead of getting charged a half percentage, they got charged 1%.
And who oversees that?
I do.
Okay. Because I'm just trying to see how these mistakes, how these are happening.
It's
How they
normally
get-
the employer. It's not the city, because the only thing we actually do, so how the system works is basically the employer, they withhold income tax. We don't have anything whatsoever to do with that. The employer actually have to file an annual reconciliation report, which comes through our office. That way we kind of know who's getting charged what. So when they actually do their income taxes the following year, I can compare it to make sure whatever the employer stated that was withheld was actually withheld on the tax returns. So that's like one verification, because sometimes it might be different.
Thank you.
Ms. Hildebrand?
Through the chair, one other way is like, for instance, myself on the refund, I have my employer take it out the whole year. But for instance, the COVID year, last year, half the year, I didn't work at the city. So when I file my return, I say I did not work physically in the city for half the year, even though my employer took out the whole year. I don't tell them to stop, start. So then I got a refund, so it would be that type of an instance as well.
I just want to ask the question of the income tax advisory committee. In being asked by the residents, and it's been a concern of mine too, even if it's just quarterly, even though some people may have fallen off. But if something doesn't happen, the same way this income tax came about, it's gonna be on the ballot to stop taking folks' money. I just wanna make this statement.
More, you still have that board, but you need to fill
Like
that
folks
position.
out.
Right.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if that's on the list. City Income Tax Oversight Committee, there are 8 vacancies.
8 vacancies.
So is nobody on it anymore? That's what I
All
thought
the
they were
terms
probably
are
inactive.
expired because it's only a 1-year term. And I don't know the last time that they met, but it's been listed on the website that that is one of the committees that has.
They met once.
If you know anybody.
They met several times. Okay, I appreciate what you just said, but would you repeat that, please?
If you know something, I think they have to be a resident, a business owner or something. If you talk about
I'm not
the same
sure what the
committee,
qualifications were, but what are you saying? If I know somebody
well, to apply
to apply for
the board,
the income tax board?
yeah, 8 positions.
Oh, okay. But I guess then they would need the assurance that it's just not sitting in a drawer waiting for Trump Jr. to give the approval to send them forward.
Thank you, Commissioner. Sorry, yeah.
And I remember like most of those people who was in those positions were working for a bank or some type of that big corporation.
Yes. Commissioner Henry.
One question through the chair. What is the alleys project under the income tax money?
Director Little. Let me start it.
I'm not aware of what the Alex project is, from the income tax money.
Well, this is a project, alleys project estimate.
It's an estimate, yeah.
Yeah, like people don't wanna know how their money moves.
That, I suspect that's the program that they were planning on at one point to, try and clean up and do some, not paving, but improvement to the alleys. I recall, in fact, I was one of the members on the, board for the, income tax.
So that's still a pending project. Okay, thank you.
I'm not sure if this is the right time to address this issue at the income tax, but my name's Ivy Chandler. I live at 709 Colfax Avenue, and there's a vacant home next door to me at 717. My question initially, I guess, would be, do you have funds for demolition? Does the city have funds for demolition of, dilapidated properties in the city?
Yeah, that house is, go ahead, Director Little.
That's the house that we pulled from the,
Yeah.
tax roll last year and has been recently assigned to the, CDC. They are procuring funding, through the Federal Home Loan Bank Board and several other institutions to, get started on rehabilitating it. And then clean it up. It's the same one that was.
I was waiting for an
initially-
email answer for
Yes, that was
Yeah.
the one that was,
that one.
the gentleman
Came in.
came in from Atlanta and committed to improving it, and he was gonna, we gave him an agreement that was a time period to do it, and nothing happened.
So
And so
when was the other
we-
decision made though for the CDC?
Let him finish.
Well,
We did it.
we took the house back, and we were approached by the Benton Harbor CDC about working with them on trying to get some of these done, and we were looking for someone to assist with doing that kind of work. And so this is an effort that we're undertaking with them to try to do them. We started with two housing units.
And who is CDC?
That is a nonprofit group that includes Ms. Ashley Hines. And she has a board of a number of local people that are working with her. And they have already begun interactions with a number of banks and the Federal Home Loan Bank Board and some others to make money available to help them rehab those houses, and then they would be sold to local low-income residents. Part of their program also involves working with citizens who are interested in buying homes to help them to become eligible to be able to purchase.
And so my question still stands, does the city have money for demolitions?
We have some money for demolition, but that's not one of the houses that's slated for demolition.
I understand.
Yes, we do.
But I'd like it to be slated for demolition because I've been there 12 years.
Mhm.
You know, it's trees growing into the fencing. The limbs are falling off of the trees in the back onto my fence. You know, I'm having to have people come out and move, and the animals have overrun that place and are moving onto my property. It's just been a total eyesore. All these years, it's changed hands. It's been on the tax roll. It's terrible. Before they'll cut the grass, I have to call to complain to get somebody to come out there to cut grass. You know, and I'm often left, you know, or my husband, you know, trying to get all the weeds and stuff off our fence, and it's a mess over there.
You're right, and we should apologize to you for that. We'll try to see if we can't get something done to start cleaning up around the outside of it while the rest of the stuff is going.
Is there any way that you could share with me what is the time frame for the completion of these projects that you're about to start on these two homes, or that one in particular?
Specific at this moment, I can't, but I will find out and get that information for you. Because we are requiring that they move to get something done on it immediately, not talking about years. That's kind of what we got caught up in with the gentleman who came back and made a commitment that he was going to start within, I think, 90 days to doing work on it, and would be spending at least $50,000 on it, and it was going to complete it within 9 months, and then nothing happened.
Well, I wish them the best. I certainly hope they do. Otherwise, I'll be back for demolition funds.
I'd like to make a statement in regards to that, because when Mr. Little let us know that the property, the guy had breached his contract with the decision that was made to allow him to keep the property and rehab it and everything. I sent Mr. Little an email and I never got an answer. And now I hear that some organization has taken it over. I don't get it, because we haven't had a community economic development committee meeting. When did that decision happen?
Within the last, I'm going to say within the last 60 days.
Okay, wait, okay, thank you. Through the chair, before that young man came forward, I know Miss Chandler, okay? And she's complained about this house for a very long time. When the county took it over, I said that was a perfect opportunity to come down and demand it be torn down. Because I went around it, the house has 5 beautiful, anything, if you know carpentry, can be redone. But she had hopes of obtaining it to possibly build out on her own house, which would increase our tax base. Build a garage, which would increase, any improvements to hers would bring about a tax base and possibly give her some parking area. But I'd like to know, or we need to put a time frame on that project, because nothing should have happened without, did we approve that?
We have not submitted the item for.
Oh, okay, so you can submit yours, Ms. Chandler.
There has been a commitment made on it, but
By who?
by me
Oh,
on behalf of the city, but not an actual transfer. That requires a commission action.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Through the chair to Mr. Leonard. Okay, you said it's been a commitment, but it did
Yes.
not go through us.
Committee,
Okay, so I don't know how you made a commitment without it going through the commissioners. Also, what is the time frame? And we would like to see the commitment that's made already.
I will get that for you. As a matter of fact, it's going to be at the next Planning and Economic Development Committee meeting.
And in the future, I don't know how you and the
Submit
city
yours.
manager is making decisions that has to go through us without going through us.
Mhm.
That needs to stop. It really does. So whatever we need to do to cease and desist, it needs to stop. It needs to go
immediately,
through us before any prior
immediately.
planning has even been made, not make a agreement and then bring it to
We
us.
don't function like that.
I don't understand that, because if we say no, then what happens? You have to go back and tell them no?
So we have to go back and let them know.
You know,
Okay, so from moving forward, we would like it to come through us first.
I want him to remember something when the Plan Economic Development Committee meeting take place, and that's, the old Dr. Brown's property. Would you put that on the agenda, please? I think it's on Pearl, on the corner.
I'm unfamiliar.
Drive down Pearl, right on the corner. Pearl and
That's
Welch.
it.
Oh,
Bassett Brown. Same thing happened with,
Again,
youth bill with that house.
to the chair to Mr. Little.
Sure did.
What is the other house? Where that located at?
God restored my son.
I've got to check for certain because we had three. One of them was up on, I'm trying to think of the name of the street. It's right past Well, and it's 2 blocks over from Union toward Pipestone. One house is there.
Adar.
Adar, right. And I forget where the other is, but we'll check it. Basically, what that's about, and we'll do it whatever way the commission wants to do it. What we're trying to do is move to meet the opportunities that come available that require certain commitments by within certain timeframes in order for them to get grants and so forth.
Mhm.
We always have the option to say we can't do it until this and just miss the grant opportunities. But basically what that's about, as you all recall, last year we had the Impediments to Fair Housing study done. It identified 6 key impediments that we have to work to overcome. Those are incorporated in the Community Development Block Grant 5-year plan and comes up in the annual plans that occurs each time. And part of that was inaccessibility housing, insufficient availability of housing. And we commit that we are going to try and create home ownership opportunities for low-income residents. That's what this effort is about. The reason we only did the 2 is I wanted an opportunity to sit and go over with the commission what the whole thing is about before we do any others. I spent this last weekend, in fact, running around all over town looking at the lots and the few that have houses on them that we got from the county. They're getting ready for their tax sale, so that we can determine if we have other housing units that will come up. So that's not a problem. We'll gladly, and as I said, it's on the agenda. It will be on the agenda for the Planning and Economic Development Committee to discuss it in its entirety. And if it's determined that we want to just stop things from happening until we can do that.
Also, it's a house on Superior. I can't know the address.
I believe that may be the one. That may be the third one. It may be on Superior.
Right, any more questions? We want to stay on track, income tax. Thank you, Ms. Donovan. Thank you. All right, next we have the matrix report. I just want to say this, Ms. Chandler, make sure you get your number to Assistant Manager Little, where you can get back with you about the information. All right. Now you have the floor.
Okay, good evening. Just a couple highlights for the June financials, that are, one is the second ARPA payment was finally received of 4.9 million. It was received at the tail end of June, so the city's got those funds in the bank now as well. Cash for the utility fund is still, I mean, it had an influx of 500,000 recently from the ARPA fund, but the cash receipts for the utility fund are still low relative to where they were pre-COVID. And the receivables over half are over 60 days, so we're not collecting much. No. So just want to keep that at the forefront, that cash is still an issue.
Put that in percentage.
Pardon me?
Percentage.
Over 50% of the amount owed is over 60 days, and it's about $438,000. So, yeah. And that's after the city gave $1 million to pay from the ARPA fund. So it's starting to climb back up again.
And that's not with the increase yet.
Pardon me?
That's with the increase,
The rate increase?
Yeah.
No, this was as of the billings from June, so. Anyway, but I just want to make sure that everyone's aware that the cash is still short in the utility fund.
watch our spending.
Right, exactly. In June, 2 items were purchased with the ARPA funds. The Patcher truck was purchased, and then 200,000 went to help fund the fire engine that was approved, and then also loan the city the amount that's going to be received from the FDCVT grant. But that really doesn't count as a payment out. It's just a loan from the ARPA fund. So, all the numbers in here for June, and I've got preliminary all over it. The June numbers will be changing from now until the audit starts in November. We have to make certain that we get all the expenses, all the revenue that comes in over the next couple months that applies to June and prior. So these are our preliminary estimates right now, so.
Director Little, you guys? Any questions for finance? Commissioner Henry?
My suggestion to fix that problem with not getting money in is for us to take a couple $1 million or whatever we got left of ARPA money and put it on that and relieve some of the barriers that's there.
We're referring to the collections.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. We need to help the residents. And the only way that we can help them is to provide that ARPA money. That's what that money is there for, to help.
Yeah.
That two things, it help the government and it help the citizen.
Right. True. Because with
Can't
that
beat that with a long stick.
long stick.
So let's do it and quit playing, because when you said $1 million, we thought it was a lot of money. And when they broke it down, it was $356. I was like, damn, that just wasn't enough. So what do we do? Honorable Chair,
You gotta make a plan, you gotta do something. Relieve the
it starts
residents.
with this committee.
That's right. Start with this discussion right now, right here. Go ahead, Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Rhonda just mentioned something, I came back that Lisa, but I think it's through you. I asked Rhonda, are we in a position, listening to Rhonda, to be hiring more people in any departments? Seriously. I mean, that's what is making sense to me.
Right.
We have these jobs posted for these positions, yet we don't need to be spending anything. Is this something that's budgeted in already for these positions or what?
Assistant.
Ron, the answer to the question about the positions that we're presently recruiting for, those are budgeted, I think.
Okay.
They were in
What
the
I wanted
budget
to-
that was presented. Were
Okay,
either positions that were vacated and need to be filled, or like some of
even a new hire, it's budgeted though.
the new hires
Okay,
that she
okay.
discussed.
Okay, and we
Yes,
still
those
need
were
to
all.
watch our spending through the
Oh,
chair.
absolutely.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
my question is, I didn't hear where exactly the gentle lady of the third ward was mentioning that opera dollars should go to actually help the residents. Where was that?
Utility services,
Okay, okay.
the
And I
Delinquent water
totally
bills.
agree. I'd like for you, Chairman, Isom, and this young man, I wish he could get here sooner than September. I would like your permission to give this young man.
August 1st.
August 1st. He'll be here in a week.
No,
Oh,
I'm
not
not
that guy.
talking about the finance director.
Okay.
But I'm hoping that he will work closely with this young man. He's coming from south, and I don't know who gave him my information. I don't ever know who give all you folks my information, but I'm the one they call. But he and his team must know something that we don't, because they would like to see where, in working with the state and the federal government, to refinance some bonds that we put out to relieve the residents of some stuff. So if you could put him on your agenda for September, I would really appreciate it, sir.
Okay, remind me.
And I'll give you his name.
You
So
can do it
because
right now.
he's gonna want to give a presentation.
Tell the clerk she'll get it done right
No,
now.
I'll send an email. I'll send an email. I just wanted you to know that, because we're always looking for a way to relieve the residents and allow business to operate. So,
Any more questions? Oh, go ahead, Director Little.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ron. Great job.
Sure.
okay, wait while we got Rhonda now, you know, I gotta, before she take off.
I'll stay.
Because my
I'll
main
stay.
and major concern is literacy. That thing that our human resource young lady was talking about. And our own people are not able to pass these tests. Sadly, I'm sure we're talking about our people of color are probably the only ones that are applying.
Let's start finance.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Because we need to put some funding towards getting some people in here that's going to help with that endeavor. And I had an appointment today I didn't have an appointment. I was there on a day that my appointment wasn't, but I got an opportunity to speak to somebody that is working towards making sure that our children in the future can pass tests with the curriculum. And I'm gearing again towards the commitment that we publicly made for Manchester Bidwell to come in here and help not only the young adults, but to work with our school and so that it doesn't get that far off into adulthood. The proper training, career training, and working with the agencies that are already up and operating. Because there's something missing, evidently. And maybe it just happens to be Manchester Bidwell Arts and Training Technology Center. And we need to find the money, because we do have extra dollars coming in that should not have been budgeted. we can utilize those marijuana dollars for the purpose of racial equity. So can we find those dollars? Where can we do some rebudgeting? Rhonda?
Have to be done. Have to, I mean, main thing in your finances are the staff and staffing costs, and to come up with any large dollars that would have to be.
Okay, how much did our public safety go up this year from opposed to last year? How much?
We'll do that when we talk about the.
Oh, we haven't gotten there.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're gonna
I'll
stay here?
stay, yeah, I'll
okay.
stay.
I was trying to catch her before she got
Yeah,
away.
no, I'll stay. I'll stay.
Look, you
Yeah.
know me. Look, I was trying to
No,
catch her
no.
before she got away.
No, I'll stay to help.
Thank you,
Yes.
dear.
Discussion.
Appreciate you.
Sure.
The 2023 opera funds allocation request.
Say that again, read that.
The request of American Rescue Plan Act funds allocation. Request, I'm just gonna read you the request that was, City of Ben Harbor, opera funds, requests, the 2022-20 budget. Citywide, we had, the cloud base, we had $100,000. Full cloud-based computer system, $30,000. These are just requests. New workstation for the cloud-based system, $100,000. City parking meters installation and software, $230,000. City Hall upgrade basement floor door and access, $15,000.
Where are you reading, sir?
Well, you probably don't have it. This what we got. This is what we got from our budget papers last, all the way in the
What
back.
page you
Very
on?
last page.
It's the very last
Oh,
page.
okay. Oh, it's not there.
And we have the park.
Question,
Okay.
are these in an email, what you're reading now? Are those actually in an email?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. And we have,
thank you.
this, like I said, the city upgrade, chamber upgrade, $65,000. For the parks, we have the Boys to the Lake, $10,000. Public safety, a mobile crime lab scene van, $300,000.
Oh.
For the cemetery, roads, bridge resurfacing, $440,000. Burial equipment, $200,000. Tree and grounds overhaul, $50,000. And for public works, we had a chipper at $30,000, a street sweeper at $200,000, and one dump truck, a small box at $50,000, come up to $1,820,000.
How many street sweepers was that?
That is one street sweeper for $200,000.
Google companies and see what you come up with.
That's in the request for the American Rescue Plan Act, so make sure you go over it. And if you got, like the mobile crab, I know Assistant City Manager, can you answer this? When Grand Rapids send a lab down, do the city have to pay for that? How that work?
I don't know the answer.
Okay.
What was that?
When the mobile lab come.
Crime
do
scene.
a Homicide,
Yeah.
crime scene, do the city have to pay for that?
Or do
This
we
is
all,
America, yes, you pay.
or wait a minute, or is it already paid for in the millage that we pay?
I've never seen it.
That's an interesting question. Or is
Can you
it,
get some information on that?
please,
Okay, on that,
Commissioner Isom, what was that 300,000 you said for what?
the mobile crab.
No, it was up a ways before you got to that.
Parking
Mobile
meters,
Parking,
crime lab.
city parking meters, installation and software.
wait a minute. City parking meters,
City parking meters. So we get, yeah, could you,
We're
39.
working on some planning.
she gonna make you a copy of the back
Got it.
page.
No, hold on.
You got it, you
Go ahead,
just got to show it to it. Last
I'm
page.
saying we're working on some
You got it.
planning for
Okay,
setting up some of the parking activities taking place so that it can begin to pay and generate some revenue.
Yeah.
Sure.
We can survive a little longer without that.
Associated with that.
This brings me back to what Gentle Lady Griffin Clark said. I know I saw you were looking at kiosks downtown. But that was just something that was thrown out there, and now it's in the budget. So it brings me back to what she said, that just not set right with me. That we don't have any information on these projects.
You know, we need to do some
These are just
some revising.
requests.
Yeah.
We need to
No.
get a chance to have
Revising.
permission to.
This has been approved. Am
No,
I
it's happening,
correct?
but we still can,
Yes, we've been to do some revising though.
these are requests.
Their request, so anything in there would have to go to the commission to be approved anyway.
Yeah,
Wait a minute, so, wait a minute, I'm just looking at the top of it, okay,
she making, Rhonda's making some printouts.
okay.
This back page. So we got boys for the lake, so we've been looking for that, for next year. Cemetery. I think it's in disarray, I think it's kind of
Oh, okay, so these are
roads and
requests.
bridges, been a lot of complaints out there. I guess we getting our own burial equipment,
Huh?
we need our own.
We
burial
going, we not, I'm sorry, we're not even supposed to be responsible for the cemetery. So what is going on?
We are responsible.
I mean, I'm talking,
We're responsible for the cemetery.
we make the decision, wait a minute. That was never determined about how a contractor, and I've been trying to understand it for the longest because I even asked the folks at the funeral home, who actually, how does cemeteries make money?
By selling their plots,
Huh?
by selling their plots. They sell their plots. If you have cemetery workers, then you get money for the burials. But right now, the cemetery's contracted with somebody, so they don't get any of that money.
Oh, I guess that's what I'm not understanding
The
because,
cemetery is supposed to be self-sufficient, so the money that comes in.
right. It's supposed to be self-sufficient. So why would, well, of course we want,
And it was for years, self-sufficient. Who all and how all they did what they did to sell the equipment, to set up a deal with a guy to buy the equipment at probably less than what it was worth, and then
management
let him
running
take
off with
all the
money.
money to do the,
Yeah,
none of that stuff makes any sense, so I don't know what the deal is, but ultimately, the city, is responsible for
Yeah.
the cemetery, just as it is for all of the
Yeah,
other
yeah,
entities
yeah.
that operate
Yeah.
in the city.
but it was self-sufficient. I know it was when I came back here because my brother-in-law, Roy Huddleston, sat on the board and I ain't never saw Crystal Spring clean like that since.
They usually got it from burial fees and from,
Man.
special funds that people contribute money to pay for maintenance. to
Yeah,
Help keep it maintained and that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Go ahead.
I don't know who to answer that question, but who is the company that doing the burial for the cemetery?
That company name, that's doing the burial for the cemetery.
I'm not sure it is a company, I believe it's probably a former employee who now
No.
has.
He got his own equipment. He
Don't-
got- that's
don't-
what we.
They sold our equipment to.
don't we still deal with the young man of North Shore? Okay, and we need to be working on a contract or something because I think he's just. Can we look into that
Yes.
to see if in fact that young man that is the overseer of North Shores and some others outside of Benton Harbor, if in fact we still have some type of anything with him, because I knew that we were making a bad mistake when we didn't give him the amount of money that he asked for when he wanted an increase.
Mhm.
All he was asking for was $10,000 our part, because we don't go out to Ross Field and flatten, take off, but we donate $20,000 to them every year. Make that make sense. What am I showing you?
She can go up there.
I knew she was gonna say something.
Go ahead, you got a question?
All right, hello.
Hi.
Yeah, I have a question, under citywide. This is through the chair for Mr. Little. Okay, the new workstation for cloud-based system, what is that actually?
To be honest with you, this is the first time I've seen that.
Okay,
So
so
Mr. Mitchell probably has. the
would do this, okay. Okay, the city, next, it's a
I know
city,
what it is.
the city parking meter installation software. We're trying to put parking meters to charge people for parking, is that, if I'm understanding that correctly, what is that?
That should be the objective at some point.
We want to remain friendly.
That's how cities get revenue, and as you notice, we never had to worry about parking before, it was nothing down there. But now we're getting all kinds of activity down here, and we should be setting up to charge people for parking.
So you're
And so,
charging,
yeah.
you, is this to charge the residents of Ben Harbor or the
No.
business
This would be to
owners?
charge
Or,
anybody who parks in the space for parking.
so that
Nah.
means Ben Harbor residents
Nah.
too, anybody, cause it's Ben Harbor, okay? My next one is on the public work. This, street sweepers, people been asking me about that, and I see it's 200,000, I guess,
That's what it
estimated to spend. Is this gonna sweep where? Is it gonna be designated areas or is, I mean, cause
Should be
I
the
know a
entire
lot of
city.
spots it can be used and people are
It
asking.
should be the entire city.
It should be.
So how is that gonna work? You gonna do one ward at a time or? Or-
Certain streets at a time, it may just take Broadway from the city limit all the way downtown, and Colfax all the way out to the city limit.
Okay, and this is all coming out of Accra, your request, cause we have to
Yes.
approve it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's so many things that need to be done.
Yeah.
And you wanna spend 230,000 on parking meters and some of this other stuff is frivolous to me. It's a-
These are just requests, and we gotta come up.
I
with-
know, we gotta approve.
Okay.
We got to say yes or no, or
But
whatever,
we
and
come
come
up
up with
some ideas
solutions.
too.
Yeah,
But-
because to some of this, to me, it's more important things need to be done.
Okay, well, just for a second, Rhonda wanted to say something.
Yeah, this list was gone through with all the department heads, and they were
Really?
asked to come up with,
Okay.
if you could spend money, I mean, this ARPA money is
Okay.
one-time money.
Right.
And if you had money, what would you need to
Oh,
help
okay.
run
This
your
is like a
department?
wish list.
It is.
Okay, then just say, yeah,
Yeah,
that's simple.
and every
Yeah.
department head gave
Okay.
us information
Okay.
on what they thought would, if the sky was the limit, what they could buy to
Right,
help
right,
their
right,
department.
right.
So, like the citywide stuff there's a lot of computers that are old. The servers are in rooms that are hot and cold and they drop and
But
they're very antiquated.
I am.
So they're looking to upgrade the financial system plus all the computers so we can operate better here in the city.
So you seem, hold on, cause I
Okay,
was,
go ahead.
you seem informative, very informative.
Mhm.
So do you know what this workstation, cause Mr. Little didn't know about it.
Yeah,
So-
the workstations are for all of the employees. It may not happen all at once, but if we go to this cloud-based system, there are computers that are 5-10 years old. And they would be workstations that could be used to access the computer system of the city.
So this would be like little cuticles for each employees or?
Each employee, right now, we all have a hodgepodge of desktops.
Mm-hmm.
Some are
Oh,
working,
yeah,
some are
yeah,
not,
yeah.
and we access the financial system, the billing system, and everything that runs the city, and it's very bandaged right now.
Okay, so are we talking about a server though that may be needed?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's where
okay.
it is.
I got a solution for that.
But let me
Go ahead,
finish this
go ahead.
last thing.
Yeah.
Okay, because I see where it's a full cloud-based computer system, then new workstation for a cloud-based system.
The 30,000 is for the system itself.
Okay.
And that is working, I think Mr. Clark got information from Analytics, who does our computer support, on what it would cost to put everything that the city has, get it off a server here and put it in a network that's
Okay.
cloud-based.
All right, thank you.
Director Little.
If I might just give you something to think about, when you look at, for example, the parking setup, that's one of those things that will continue to generate income back to the city for years to come. And it's something I think that the city needs to seriously look at. It went through a long period of many, many years where you probably couldn't get anybody to pay for any parking because there was nothing down there. But now that it's beginning to fill up, if you notice, even the parking lot right here next to the park, the one over here, all of them, they're full continuously now.
City law.
And they should be generating revenue. For the city. Cities operate off taxes, off parking fees, off all of these things. And if we don't develop some of those sources of income, we don't have any ARPAs coming every year,
Right.
we're gonna find ourselves back in the things.
One thing about the opera funds, they have to be, the federal government got guidelines that you
Yes.
have to follow.
Exactly.
Get this money. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Little. But when they redid Main Street, that was gravely discussed because I was asking about where are our old meters, and I think somebody Public Works said that they saw them somewhere in a storage space somewhere. Not Barron County got them, I'm sure, but that's besides the point. The point was, why can't we do some angle parking while we're doing our street and place some meters there? This was the idea I ran by a lot of the business owners that were in the room. And you know what the conversation was? And I'm surprised that you just mentioned that because, oh no, we're trying to be friendly to those that come into the community. And I totally agree because we need to be. And St. Joe just had the same thing going on just last month before. They were thinking about putting in, and I think that people have enough hardship. And to have to be inside a place thinking about a meter on your mind when you can't even take care of your business, it costs a quarter, gonna probably cost you $25. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that we need to, and the business owners, because I was fighting it as co-chair of economic development. I was looking at them tax dollars. I was counting. I sure was. But no, but if it happens, it need to happen on some of our old empty lots where people will need to park that can't get as close to where those that first come, first serve got a chance to park. But I don't think so. Because if I just need to run over into the market, and then that's a place and space that we've created that I was against spending all that money on that thing with that roof on it with them brick. But to just come together and talk and socialize with one another at the same time, to be thinking about my meter running low. When all I came over here for was some tomatoes, but I got a chance to see Betsy that I haven't saw and I don't know when. I even got a chance to talk to Jack. When, I mean, they helped me to understand the larger portion of the picture and to utilize some old empty properties to actually put meters in. Just like St. Joe just recently in right there where Upton's office is,
Right.
opened that up. It was $5 to park up in here. the older gentleman was sitting outside with a chip, out on the driveway with a $5 sign to park here. I mean, there's other things that we can do without not being uninviting to those that come in to the community during the summer months. So they sold me on it.
And not by the way of debating or anything, just sharing information.
Yeah.
The old type meters, they don't use anymore.
And-
Those have gone the way now of the Model T. Now what they do is use several systems. One, they put numbers
Yeah.
in each space and
Yeah.
you go up and put your money in and it works that way. Others have scanners and whatnot. But ultimately, once again, and I understand what you're saying, when they were redoing Main Street, that was at the point where I'm sure you probably would have been wise to beg people to come down and park any way you can get them. But when nothing happening yet. But that's changed. Now you've got people competing for parking spaces out here. We've got businesses even like Block doesn't have any parking in that lot there. The gentleman over on that side of Vincent, he doesn't have any parking. They're having to use our parking lots for it. But things like the parking lots and spaces, all this stuff has to be maintained and it costs money.
Mhm.
And if you don't have revenue coming from some source to do that, I mean, all of those lots back off of Main
Yeah.
Street down there that I had DDA buy them back in the 80s. All those lots are in the condition they need to be being redone right now. They need to be repaved and restriped and whatnot. And whenever that time comes, it's gonna cost money to do it. So we have to look at the limited ways that we have to make money.
Mr. Henry?
I don't think that's a great idea. We have to find ways to make money. I'm in the human more than the brick and mortar. So when they said, well, we're gonna go out and put the kiosk out in the Union Park, Gene Clark Park, I said, well, that's a great idea.
Mhm.
Because that means there's gonna be at least 2 jobs for 2 residents in Ben Harbor.
But that was because chaos was there. Go ahead.
So that's where I went with it. And I'm saying the same thing about the municipal parking lots. Do you know how many parking lots we own?
That's where they should go.
Do you know how many parking lots we own, Mr. Little?
Well, yeah.
Those are going to wind up being filled up too.
How many do
And
we
they
have?
need to be. The exact number at this moment, it's been a while, I don't recall exactly, but I know there are quite a few.
Should be a certain area, a designated area.
We
Okay.
got the one behind,
Do you agree with that? A designated area for them?
They are a designated area.
No, I'm talking about for the meters.
Oh,
no, I think.
In
we ought to put-
municipal.
I think we ought to put meters
I do too.
all up and down.
Why-
wait a minute. Wait a minute.
We
Let
trying
me
to get people to
wait
read.
a minute. Let me talk this. Let me say this. What do we do at Gene Clark Park?
You got meters out there?
We got meters out there.
Yeah.
And what do we allow Benton Harbor residents to do? Okay, that's our choice.
Yeah, we can residents park for free.
Now, I always look at it from a job perspective and a human perspective. So I can't say for sure, but every time I go to Gene Clark Park, I never see anybody out there scanning anything. They tell me that they go from Gene Clark Park to another park, but I don't understand that process either.
When they gonna-
So maybe we don't have 2 jobs.
Mm.
I don't know. I've been trying to get that in from understanding. But if we're gonna, at one time we had a great idea that we allow Benton Harbor residents to run our parking lots. I don't see why. I know that automation is great, but, and I know we can have some control over it to make sure our people, but I just don't see any, I don't see that person in it. I don't see them jobs in it. Because at one time, the reserve officers was doing the work in Gene Clark Park. Now, it's only supposed to be a car or some two kind of vehicles that can ride around and scan those things. So it's got to be some jobs attached to it for Benton Harbor resident. Preference treatment. I'm gonna say it over and over and over, like I used to say, compassion. When they learned how to say compassion, they was like, "We're trying to be compassionate, Commissioner Henry." So now I'm saying this word: preference treatment. Benton Harbor people need preference treatment. If any job, if anything over $10,000 and a job is not attached to it, or some kind of benefit for the people, shame on us. For this opera money.
I think he,
Go ahead.
So, like, if we not gonna charge the city resident, how will we know if they city resident? Will we put a sticker,
Exactly.
or a sticker like they can do in your river?
And that becomes extremely costly.
Go ahead.
Cities I've been in before had what they call field tax. The cost of printing, putting individual numbers so that you can verify that it's legitimate. All of that, it becomes extremely costly.
there's easier way. I'm gonna wait and share it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, there is a way, because that's what we do at G Clark Park.
Yeah.
The resident calls in and gives their license plate number, and that allows them, when they do the scanning, that comes up and they know that they're a resident and they don't owe.
Mhm.
So I don't know why parking couldn't be, I mean, this is what they were looking at here was typically is the same
Same thing.
technology with the kiosks. That if you did implement something with city residents not having to pay for parking, I don't know why they couldn't do the same thing.
Same thing.
We would take their information and it would get loaded into the system so they wouldn't be
Yeah.
ticketed if they didn't pay.
Yeah,
And
but
if we could do that, it wouldn't create that big a problem because you don't have that
That's what
many
we're doing now.
residents.
you know what I just experienced?
Oh, you couldn't do, that's gonna change.
I just experienced when I was in Detroit last month, or was it the month before? When I was downtown, it was tight, but there was a lot across the street where I could have actually parked free. But man, I'm in Detroit, okay? But they had a concert up that way in the alley, and these businesses of the adjoining buildings that had parking spaces had fencing up, and it created jobs for security because and I didn't mind paying to watch my vehicle because I got to get back home, and I don't need nobody stealing what little tires I got or anything, the Cadillac converter or nothing. But they were different and separate. I could see it from up top looking down over the city exactly how the layout was made, and the guys just pull up. You give them your and if you got a pass to get in, you get in. And I mean, I had valet though. And it was costly, and some people don't mind paying, but everything doesn't have to be so technical when we can do some things manual and create a job as well. Yeah.
Yep, so it's just a list of requests, so look over them.
So-
We're gonna move to
So can we do this?
the budget amendment, huh?
Can we do this before we get to the budget amendments? Because we're just talking about the
That's all.
amendments, right? Okay, so good. So can you put something for the city clerk to send out to the elected officials of their wish list?
Requests.
A request for their wish list? Yeah.
Send it to.
Yeah, because we're the ones that catch it from the residents,
Yeah.
and they have desires. They're the ones that's keeping everybody paid. The residents is the ones that's paying everybody. So how dare you leave them out?
All right, yeah. So now we're gonna move to the 2022, 2023 budget amendments request. discussion too, just discussion, we're not moving up.
Okay. Okay, so my question, if I may, begin with Rhonda can just think while she's sitting there. What's cuttable? What has increased over 50,000, over 100,000, or over 200,000? Is there anything in this budget that has grave increase like that? Yeah.
When you say increases,
From last year, what was budgeted and what was budgeted in this year, what has significantly grown?
nothing has significantly grown
Okay.
that wasn't funded with grant dollars. For
Okay.
instance, if you look at public safety, it appears there's 600,000 over what they've been running. Well, that's the fire engine.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, for
With the
that
grant.
price that's accumulated into the cost that we're looking at right now?
Right.
Okay,
So
but that's a grant.
the grant goes in the revenue, but the expense for the item has to go into the public safety department. The net
Right.
is zero. So if you look year to year, it looks like public safety spending more money.
More money.
Well, they are.
Why could that not be separated for better understanding? I'm just saying, that's a question that I would normally ask
That's
a financial director when we,
right.
and I'm asking Rhonda, thank God she's here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it can be. I mean, and some of the information, can be laid out in like the budgets for the departments.
Yeah.
You would see it here in the summary and then it could be spelled out.
Okay, and that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like I got that one problem that our lovely Ms. Galladay mentioned. I'm not trying to pass a test or anything, but some of us just visually understand things better when they're, separated. Where can we do some cutting? Well, I guess as long as we got this wish list and we can spend some opera dollars, we can wait and look this over later.
Yeah.
I'd really like to suggest to you that this is not a complete so-called wish list because
There's more.
there's some critical things.
There's some more.
that Need to be here.
Yeah.
On here.
Yeah, I'm sure.
What people may have put on here may have little to do with how they should be operating and what we do need to add. I mean, some basics, for example, meeting next committee meeting, I'll be bringing the thing in there about these cameras. We've already approved, committed to paying half the cost of the cameras.
Mhm.
We also have to pay the installation costs for them. And there may be some additional stuff related to that camera system to get it in and in place.
Mhm.
And we're already out there on that, but it's not on
Okay.
here. I think there's some other things, I mean, for example, and I guess we need to just talk about it and take those things out.
Yeah.
If, for instance, we're not going to pursue trying to generate revenue from parking, we may be needing to look at for some of these lots. Pay some money to try to coat them and restripe them and take care of them. I mean, there are a lot of other issues that we need to be looking at here that are important.
And I'm sure that some of us could have come up with some of those ideas that's actually on here.
Yeah.
I think you need for one thing, you really need to get like a 977 KRL end loader and hire somebody from operating engineers to come in and use it so that when, instead of paying a fortune to have somebody haul away a pile of wood, we run over it and crush it up.
I've been saying we need our
Put it in
own,
a hopper and
I've
haul
been
it
saying
away
for
in one
years.
load and be done with it.
Been
A lot of
crying it for
things that
years.
We could do a lot better in this city than what we do.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. You know it too, don't you?
Yes.
Okay, so one thing I was thinking that we need to,
Wait just a minute.
I'm sorry.
Wait just a
You
minute.
had in the list here. You didn't need-
Okay, go ahead.
so one thing I'm thinking, we need to come up with a way to get this army back open and operating with other funds,
Okay,
with other funds.
okay,
If we gotta do historical
Okay.
something, well, we need it open for the youth. And then I took a group over there a couple times, and they wanted to see it open.
Good. Yep.
and can I tell you why? Because the funding has started, and somebody like you need to be down there running it.
Thank you, Mr. Henry.
Don't worry about it. Hold on.
One thing is Public Works.
Public Works, that's right.
Public Works have an opportunity now. Back in the day, Public Works did a lot. They did sidewalks, they did a lot of work, but they had skilled labor. They didn't just have CDL licensed people. They had people that actually knew how to do some things. And if there is a program, what does she call that? Succession program plan, then we need to start at the bottom and produce these people. We need to think out of the box. If you knew the reason why everybody have a CDL, because everybody wanted a raise, and everybody got a raise that had a CDL. We need to do something about Public Works.
We do.
So if we're just looking to hire 2 part-timers and might work into a full-time, we need to put some people in there and train them up.
Right.
So if they don't have a driver's license or CDL license, because that's what they're asking for, a CDL license. But I don't think they need a CDL license to ride as a passenger and the man a shovel.
Look,
I don't think they
Look.
need a CDL
Look.
license for that. And most people can drive a pickup truck, but you don't need CDL license. So we gotta figure out some way to change these antiquated things, the things that didn't make sense, or they were in part of the trickery of what our staff did to us in the last 20 years. They got over real slick on us, and it really needs to stop.
okay, so come on.
So let's
I'd like to touch.
add some.
Look at
Let's
Public Works.
add some.
I'd like to touch on something that Mr. Little mentioned, because I wasn't done.
Mr. Henry.
I wasn't done before she took over.
Go ahead, City.
But
Commissioner. Go ahead, Commissioner.
I asked through the chair, Mr. Little, if in fact he would talk with Marion County, because see, they have a lot of opera dollars too. A lot of it is supposed to help with broadband, but they need to help with some cameras too. For as much as they in Benton Harbor patrolling and stopping people and incurring Benton Harbor residents ticket costs, fines and fees that end up over there. Yeah, we need to be after some of those dollars, because some of them are supposed to service Benton Harbor. When it comes to the camera system, especially out there by Donald Atkins Drive, because it's sad and very unfortunate that people keep cleaning it up. And nobody knows anything. And it's almost like some people that are in high places are very aware of it and just don't care. Because it keeps going on and over and over and over, when it should be a number one spot for cameras.
We got a lot of places like that, but.
I'm talking about that one and getting with the county to
That's in
you know,
Benton
cover the
Township.
cost.
That's in Benton
But
Township.
now you're hearing me. So that's my point exactly. Working together with Marion County to take care of the township. They have a commissioner. Talk to the commissioners. They need to utilize some of it. They getting some marijuana dollars. They done got over $1 million, almost $2 million in tax revenue from marijuana sales. Guess how many black folks over here in Ben Harbor that have been over there locked up doing plenty of time, families sending money and having to survive? No, we need to start speaking up and asking for what we want and what we need.
Let's stay on task. Let's stay on budget.
Wait a minute, trackers for our vehicles.
For the city-owned.
City-owned vehicles, every last one of them. Because vehicles be in places that they should not be. Period. And it's no secret. Don't look at each other buck-eyed and stuff like don't nobody care. Our tax dollars, gas is too much. Out of low order and out of line. If it ain't a main break nowhere, ain't nowhere in the world a city truck supposed to be riding around at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning going nowhere.
I would think.
I mean, do they?
I have-
Let's ask. Oh, you don't know.
We'll find out.
Okay.
Get back
And
to
we
you.
need to make arrangements to make sure
Get that question
and secure them in having some.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Henry, Griffin.
Yeah, I wanted to, because we talked about a minute and I would like, I don't know if I have to put it on the floor or make a minute. I know this water increase
Oh,
was
okay.
voted on like 2019, way before
Yeah.
I came, but I believe we need to do, because things have changed and people are in hardship.
It is.
So I think we need to put it back on the floor or whatever can we do, amend or whatever to
You have some
not have
items
that
that
increase.
you have some items that can.
That's a state. That increase we got for 5 years, right?
Yes, that's
What increase?
associated with activity that went on some time ago.
Yeah.
What
Right.
increase?
ACO, that's administrative consent order, right?
Yeah.
Part of that. Go ahead.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
already
part of the
committed.
bond, The water and sewer bond.
Oh, yeah,
Part
yeah,
of the
yeah.
Agreement
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the state helped secure the loans for the bonds
Uh-huh.
to do all the sewer and water work in 2020, 2021. So it was agreed upon, I think, in 2019.
Yeah.
So that was why it was agreed to, because these bonds are kicking in and
And pay
they're
them back.
costing
Yeah.
money.
But
I'm still,
But I have talked to some people, and this meeting is coming up, and I'm going to invite y'all, and I'm going to ask y'all to try to please be on the line so you can ask some questions and help me to pressure them that has the power to those that be beyond them to give us that to reconcile something
Mhm.
in some type of form, knowing that this is what they call it, and they talked about it a lot. They know that Ben Harbor is a
Distress,
not distress. It was another word they kept using because Ben Harbor isn't the only one.
Right.
There's some other cities, communities
Entitled.
that not entitled. It'll come to me, but anyway.
well,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, things have changed in 2019, especially for the residents. A lot of them are going through hardship.
Right.
And if it's anything we can do to, relieve, give them some kind of relief, because if I saw it right and I'm calculating right, within 5 years, we'll be paying 50%.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And that's a lot.
Exactly.
That's a
And
lot.
they have the power with the 1 point some trillion that Biden administration has let loose. There's infrastructural dollars. We need to make an appointment to go talk to Secretary Pete Buttigieg.
Any more questions for you? What's in
Somebody that can talk and lobby for.
I agree with the commissioner.
Shoot, lobby and get stuff done.
That it's a time to work,
A lot of work.
and the squeaky wheel gets the oil. I'm gonna make myself a target painted on my back. But I see some money. I see one department is very top heavy.
Where is it?
and it's the Benham Police and Fire,
All the time.
very top heavy.
Which page you on?
I'm not on a page.
Oh, okay.
I just know that looking over the years,
Yeah.
I've watched it happen.
Are they a 501c3?
And
Do they have one?
I've even talked to the city manager about it.
Grants.
I see where we can
Who do they use right now?
we can give our patrolmen a big
Who asked them?
increase,
Hold on.
but you gotta have that conversation, Chair, through the city manager, to let them at least look into how the numbers would crunch if we made some different plans with that department. But if you just keep thinking it's gonna just keep going the way it is,
Communities
'Cause
all over America is
even though they
demanding it.
did put
For
that
real.
$600,000 in there for the engine, it's still $2.3 million.
Mhm.
Only thing that we got that big is general administration, and that's got so many things in it you could never understand. You could never see the list that a big business administration had. But the next big department is public safety department.
Who, if they don't have their own 501c3, how are they obtaining these grants?
Ms. Hildebrand wants to say something.
I was gonna mention that the public safety that's budgeted is still short 9 people. That the dollars you see there are to fill all the positions.
In there.
There are still 9 positions that are not filled.
So how many was last year?
It was about the same.
Oh, okay, so
But they offset it
With the 9.
with overtime. I mean, you don't have as much cost, but they run a lot of overtime when they don't have those staff positions filled.
Okay, guys.
okay, but is crime?
This is the same thing that they has done to us for years.
Okay.
They're doing the same thing.
When you're in a factory and you want extra money, what you do? Overtime.
So if you don't ask the city manager to at least entertain and crunch the numbers, we'll never know. I mean, just entertain it. To search for some way to hold our patrol officers so they won't keep leaving, because they're the ones that's leaving. The higher ones that's getting paid up in the chief and the deputy and the sergeant,
Yeah,
they don't leave.
that's where the money at.
It's the young people that's getting a low salary. They are leaving.
It's
And
3
we need
shifts.
to give them some money.
It's 3 shifts. 3 shifts.
What about 3 shifts?
There are 3 shifts in the department.
Regular, you want to say something?
No, I'm just saying, yes, that's 3 shifts. They cover 24 hours a day.
Okay, I just got something to say what Commissioner Henry said about the low pay, the patrol. But to be honest, when you apply for the job, you know what the pay is. I've never started a job without asking pay. And even our union members, we know what the contract, we go over it with them when we negotiate. But another thing also, as far as the training, I know one of the big issues is people coming in, getting the training and leaving. It should be a requirement, maybe you have to stay a year,
But
to put some kind of
they-
on there.
It's within their contract with their union, their association, that they don't have to, no, no, that's not allowed. But that's what needs to stop.
I mean,
We just approved, and I'd like to know how that actually works. There was one officer that was approved for association membership. You mean to tell me there's separate memberships? It's not a whole big, what? How does that work? It was on our last accounts payable
I don't know, but going
for
back to the-
$100 with the police
We don't know.
association.
We don't know about that.
It wouldn't have been the union.
But wait a minute, my thing is, why do we have to pay that? If they want to belong to an association, they come out of their pocket to be in an association.
No.
But I wasn't finished, so
Go
even
ahead.
going back with the union, as far as putting a time frame where they can stay, that could be negotiated also,
Mm.
even with the union, the contract, I do the negotiations. So I know.
All right, we gotta look into.
Ain't no accountability been going on across country though.
So if we increase public work pay, what are we looking at? We're looking at 15 starting out, and then you got certification 17 and up.
15 for what?
I'm trying to figure out if we
Public
can-
safety?
Yeah, no, public work.
Oh.
What was that start? Well, it's still,
Go ahead,
it's
Director.
still, but
Let me say this. City government is a business, just like any other business. The only difference is it's not a profit-making business, but it produces services. What really needs to occur is we need to do
Or outsource.
wage and hour comparison to what's being paid for these different jobs within our area and within the state. Because no matter what jobs they are, you've got to be, if you're going to have qualified, capable people, then you've got to be competitive in wages and benefits to keep them.
Right.
Contract it
Or else
out.
they will all work for you a little while and walk.
Contract it out. We need to look at
I
that.
bet would you stop interrupting?
And I tell you, the same factors that affect the business affect us also. We have to really look at not only all of these parts and pieces, wages, cost, equipment, staying away from contracting because it kills you. But we need to figure out, one, how we're going to increase revenues, increasing the tax base, whatnot. We need to work on how we're going to increase our population. I hear loud and clear the concern that we want to do some things for our existing population. Okay, fine. But you also need to be working on getting some new population in here that you won't have to take care of, that can in fact pay house notes, pay taxes, pay
Don't say
market rate rents,
Don't say it.
pay parking, pay whatever,
That's
just
where
like
they
they
headed
would
anyway.
anywhere else. Because they do it in Indianapolis, they do it in Kalamazoo, they do it in Grand Rapids. It's part of American life. But we're like a business that used to be really going strong, and now we in a hard area trying to grow out of it. And we do that through doing a number of things all at the same time. And we need to carefully look at all of these different objectives to figure out how to do them. What's the best way to do them? What's the most cost-effective way to do them? What can we afford? What can we not afford? What produces a return for us that lowers our costs, increases services to the citizens or people that live, and that has a long-range benefit to the community to help it grow. There's some significant positive things that have happened in the city.
Of
But there's
course.
a lot more that needs to happen.
Of course.
And what we do, as well as what we don't do, has an impact on whether or not the other stuff that we need to have occur, whether it happens or not.
And I just want to say, going back on Commissioner Henry, as far as public work, Mr. Little said, we can't keep them because the raise. Why not increase the raise? Really, that's low for police to be putting their life on the line.
Oh, that's not for police though.
No, but we were talking about the
Okay.
raises and what they
Oh,
make.
okay.
And to
Yeah.
be honest,
Yeah.
you risking your life every day,
Oh.
especially with crime going up and violence. And as far as Mr. Little saying, we need to be figuring out ways to bring people in and isn't this what these new developments are? We got 2 big development projects. That's gonna bring people in. And we do not need to start to increase stuff on the residents. You know, to pay for all this other stuff. Then, cause then if they can't afford it, then we losing our residents.
Yeah.
That's paying for the city and everything else.
Yeah.
So, and then he states we, I mean, who is we? Is that you're the department head or the commissioner and you and the department head? Because a lot of decisions are being made and agreements and side deals that's not involved the commissioners. So we, you're right, we, commissioner, department head, whoever need to come together and figure out what works best for our residents and our city.
And when she's saying some things being made that aren't even involving us, I'll apologize for that. Because one of those kind of deals that we made that I've got to bring to you, but I've already stepped out there because I thought that's what you wanted me to do. We got a $100,000 grant from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. I was telling you about it when I said that previously, when I looked at our cost for rehab and housing, it was up to $60,000 to $70,000 because we were paying for lead abatement. Now I've got money coming from the state that does that for us, so we can use our money to do more houses, more roofs, and more things, because we got somebody else paying for it.
Good.
But yeah, I did. I got out there on behalf of the city to go get that.
That's what we paid you for.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
But also,
Okay, but no. There is a order in a chain of command of every organization.
He apologized.
We also went after the $75,000 from Community Action Agency. Nobody said do that. I just knew that we didn't have enough money to hire as many kids as we did last year, and we needed it. So we went and got it. And there are other things that I've been pursuing, but I will make sure that I'd like to ask you to let me go ahead and pursue it, and then as soon as we get it to you. But if I hold up first, a lot of it will be gone.
Do you think you can persuade Whirlpool to finally put some air conditioning in our schools and help with the renovations and stuff? I mean, cause it's so long overdue. Let's match some money.
Let me ask one question before I leave. In one of our committee meetings, I talked of an exit report. And that's a report that you get when you leave your job. At that time, the city manager said, I said, is there a problem? Oh, no, Ms. Galladay said, oh yeah, we get that. I said, well, is there a problem with you sharing that information with the commission? And the city manager said, oh, that's fine. So when I went to him, he said, oh, I got to get a legal opinion on it. So I'm asking, that's been a month or more. So I'm asking through the chair, would you ask the city manager or through the deputy city manager to please give me that information? I want to see an exit report.
Yeah.
It's probably the left here since 2018.
Every previous. Yeah. I would like that too. Can I ask you a question off of what she's talking about as far as personnel? Because I don't know, and I don't want to overstep my boundaries as an elected official, because I know that Mr. Mitchell takes care of day-to-day operations and oversees but we're talking about employees. And we have every right to know, though, if somebody has disappeared and they're blowing up our phone, telling us things of what happened to them. No, that exit report would basically say a lot. But if a person is employed with the city, not to say that there is, but there has been in times past, have complaints and they're complaining to the ones they voted for. Yet they don't understand the process and how things are governed when it comes to division of and the separation of powers, okay? But if they have a complaint about their job or supervisor or what are we supposed to do as elected officials? What are we supposed to do?
You get
I want
run
to
out
hear
the
that.
meetings, that's what happened.
I want to hear that.
You take it to the manager and you should get the people involved.
No, that you know,
That didn't work.
that's just like if you see something, say something, and then you say something, and now they're trying to sneak through the back door where people can say something because people bust them out in public.
Well, things are not always the way they seem.
I
And
know.
I'll take it away from here.
That's why we
Where
need an exit
We had,
report for one.
where I retired from before I came back here, I had 1,100 employees I was responsible for. Now, we made people do exit interviews, and I'm gonna tell you, we did it because we wanted the story
Okay.
at the time they left.
Yep.
Because many people after they left
Yep.
came up with a new story.
Yep. All
And
kind
it was
of
all totally different.
didn't know whether to
and
go by
often-
Scott or
and often
Northern.
untrue. And often untrue. And then what was
That's what I'm saying.
offset is that exit interview that they
That
did at
makes
the time
sense.
they left,
Yep.
when they were telling you about the new
Yep.
opportunity they had and all of that and so
Yep.
forth. And then when it didn't
And,
work out.
and
all of a
if they
sudden,
anything like me and they
Yeah.
sit there and they give you an exit report on their true thoughts and feelings, that should be shared as well. That it might not be good.
Thank you, everybody, for participating. Good meeting.
Yes, it was.
Committee's adjourned.
It
Thank you,
really
Rhonda.
was.
Thank you, sister.
Look at she stayed the whole time.
Yes,
I did.
Yeah, you did.
Thank you.
Good night. You have a good day.
I will.